Throwdown Nation. It is Monday night, and we are live on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and Twitch. We are here at episode 53 of the Throwdown with Matt, and tonight we are throwing down with an up-and-coming talent coming to us straight out of one of the linchpins of the indie wrestling scene in Atlanta, WWA4. I present to you the king of fades, Mr. JayTyler. How you doing, Jay?
I gotta get my pop real quick. I'm doing great, man. Just living life, taking it one day at a time.
That's all you can do, man. Before we go any further, I do have a quick announcement I want to make, and that is we are now in a cross-promotional partnership of sorts with 7 Essence Tea. 7 Essence is now the official tea of the Throwdown with Matt, and several factors led into this. Two of their driving principles are authenticity and appreciation. Those are two values that drive the heart of 7 Essence, and authenticity and appreciation is something we strive for here at the Throwdown as well. They also mention on their website a quote from Matthew McConaughey that life is a verb, and couldn't agree more. And we need to live it as such. Plus, the owner of 7 Essence is a rock music guy who also happens to have an appreciation for wrestling. So it was a perfect fit for cross-promotion. And tonight I'm drinking Darjeeling Vintage Muscatel out of an official Throwdown coffee cup. And later on at the end, I'll be putting a link up for our merch store if you want to get a coffee cup of your very own. But anyway, for those of you that are watching this live, any questions or comments that you have, throw them in the chat. And at the end, we'll do a quick little viewer Q&A session, and all questions and comments will be read and answered. So we're going to start with the first and most obvious question, Jay, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
I started around April 2022, so around 2.5 years.
Gotcha. And have you pretty much trained at WWA4 the whole time with AR Vox?
Yes, sir, the whole time. I've done seminars from Anthony Henry and Paul London was like my most recent seminar I did, but actually majority training is AR Fox.
Gotcha. Yeah, you really can't do a whole lot better than him, man. He is producing some real talent for sure. So, have you been a fan of this stuff pretty much your whole life? And if so, what is your earliest wrestling related memory?
Well, growing up in the country, wrestling is like real big. So like my hasn't missed an episode of Monday Night Raw since it launched. My earliest memory is my uncle had two tapes. He had WCW Road Wild 1999, and he had SummerSlam 2001. And those
Looks like we've lost him. Hopefully he'll be back, and here we go. We lost you. You were in the middle of, you said SummerSlam 2001, and then you cut out.
yeah, SummerSlam 2001. Those two tapes right there were like some of my first earliest memories of wrestling. Matches that stood out on the card was I remember Randy Savage driving at Road Wild. There we go.
We lost you again.
But yeah, I was saying matches stood out. Dennis Rodman faced Macho Man Randy Savage. That was always hilarious to me because I only knew Dennis Rodman at the time for basketball at the time, but that one popped me. Booker T and Stevie Ray winning the WCW Tag Team titles from Kidman and Bam Bam at the time. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Billy Kidman faced off in the opening.
Hello?
Hello, trying to get this
Hello?
connection. There we go. All right, I'm on the Wi-Fi now. I should be. All right, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That was like one of my earliest memories. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero facing six-man tag against Vampiro and the ICP. Uh, yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
2001 SummerSlam opening with Edge and Lance Storm for the IC title. Uh, RVD, Jeff Hardy put on one of the greatest wrestling matches with a ladder I've ever seen. Booker T and Rock main evented. Austin and Kurt Angle tore the house down. Uh, DDP and Kane getting murdered by Undertaker Kane. Those matches stood out for me. And yeah, those probably my first earliest memories of wrestling.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Was there a particular point in your life where you looked at the TV or you looked at the show or whatever and you thought, you know what, I think I could do that? Was there a point where you decided, you know, I think I can be one of those guys?
Oh well, when I was a kid, my mom and dad got me a trampoline. The one you kind of really got to put the whole net up and all that. But
Oh yeah,
me being me, me being me, I ain't put net up. I just put four. When I got three garden hoses and wrapped it around it and made my own wrestling ring on the trampoline when I was a kid. I used to walk out the garage like it's my own entrance ramp. Had created my own title belts out of cardboard boxes and shit. John Cena was the champion. He had the spinner belt. I manufactured my own spinner belt out of cardboard. It was like I did all that
nice.
as a kid. So wrestling with my cousins, my best friend. But the moment I was like, I said I could do this for sure. Actually started coming to the fore as a date with my girlfriend, and because I was like trying to find stuff to do, I was trying to do something with our relationship. So I found this place on Instagram. No, I found it on Google, and then I found out they had an Instagram, and it just so happened to be a Thursday, and they 84 runs on Thursday, so they were live. It
Right.
was like Thursday around like 8:30, and I clicked it, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And I watched the whole show, and I was like, "Oh, see what it's about." And I found out it was on Fourth Industrial, which wasn't Fourth One State at that time. And I asked her like, "Hey, you want to come out with me to this wrestling show on Thursday?" And she was like, "Yeah." So I brought her, and she enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Then like the next week, I brought my homeboy, and we all had a good time. And like the third week, I seen. It's funny because shout out to Alonzo Garcia. I seen Alonzo Garcia in the ring, and I was like, "Yo, this dude can do this shit. I can do it. 100% I can do it." And I was like, and like the next week, I signed up after work. Like I put my whole relationship in jeopardy just signing up. I didn't even talk to my girlfriend for the whole day. I was like, because I know she's gonna talk me out of it if I talk to her. So I just took the money I had. I had got my taxes at the time. I just came up here. I paid Fox and I joined. I've been keep rolling ever since.
Awesome. Awesome. Speed round. Kane.
Oh, Big Red Machine.
Yep.
First thing that comes to my mind every time.
Any good memories of Kane?
Uh, huh, him setting JR on fire.
Yeah.
Like, watching it as a kid was wild, but now I think about it like as an adult, like that's the funniest thing ever. Watching it on TV.
When you're a kid, though, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, my man set him on fire. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Y'all really let him set him on fire on TV.
Yep. So, away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests?
Growing up, I was a big football guy. Uh, not as much anymore, but I still enjoy football. But wrestling really like took over all that. So like
Gotcha.
I enjoy doing other things. Like I enjoy hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. You know, talking about life in general and hanging out with my sisters. Like I enjoy doing that and my nephew, my niece. But as far as like other hobbies or anything like that, I mean like I wrestle.
Gotcha. So I know, the goal is to have wrestling completely pay the bills and have it be your only thing. But right now, are you at that point yet, or do you still have a day job?
I still have a day job. I actually went to work today. Work for Chevrolet. So
Nice, nice.
and
What do you do at
perform
Chevrolet?
general maintenance. You know, on cars and stuff like that. Not too much, not too
Very
shabby, but
good.
it pays.
Absolutely. Do have any of your coworkers come to see you wrestle?
Uh, Only one coworker that ever came to an A4 show, and he came before I was wrestling.
Gotcha. So, are you originally from Atlanta, or the Atlanta area? And if not, where, what is your hometown?
No, I'm not from Atlanta at all. I'm from Greensboro, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Born and raised.
That's further east out I-20, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Lake Oconee area.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is your favorite thing about Greensboro?
It's quiet. I love quiet. It's quiet. It's peaceful. I can look up at the stars at night and just peaceful.
Very nice. Yeah, we live about 35 miles northeast of Atlanta. We're sort of on the line where suburbia starts to meet rural, which is really nice because, like you said, it's quiet. We've got, the amenities of Atlanta fairly close by if we need them, but we're far enough out that we don't have to deal with a lot of the stuff that you deal with being close to a big city. So it's good. So they say that the best wrestling persona is yourself turned up to 11. So tell me about in ring. Tell me about the King of Fades, and kind of compare and contrast him with Everyday Jay.
Uh, King of Face is me with no filter. Me just not being held back by, all right, I might, hurt this person's feelings or this person might not like if I do this. Like King of Face, I don't care. I'm me to 1,000. I'm saying whatever comes to my mind. I'm talking about whoever. I'm doing whatever I want to do. So I'm letting all the pent up aggression I've had over this past week, or dealing with the people at Chevrolet. I'm laying it out in the ring now. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah.
Um, do you ever find yourself having a problem turning off the King of Fades when you're away from the ring, or have you been able to kind of flip the switch back and forth pretty easily?
uh, it's pretty easy. The moment I, just actually sit down and just be like, all right, now this is starting to hurt a little bit. That's when it turns off. When the adrenaline wears off, that's when it turns off. Like, all right, I have to chill out now.
Gotcha. Speed round. Matt Taven.
Matt Taven. I have no memories of Matt Taven. I've heard the name before, but I have no memories of it.
Gotcha. He's currently on AEW. Yeah, he's in a faction with Adam Cole and then the Undisputed Kingdom.
Uh, the other guy, you know, they always be all I see is Adam Cole. That's all it feels like. It's who they push is the person that I mainly remember. So,
Gotcha.
like I said, I've
Gotcha.
heard the name before. That's why it's like it's familiar. I just don't have any like memories of Matt Taven. No offense to Matt Taven.
Gotcha. No, no, I'm sure he'd be fine with it. So, tell us about your very first match. What was it like? How did it go? What were your thoughts going into it? Your thoughts coming out of it? All of that. Let's hear all about it.
Well, I don't have too much of a memory of the match. I know it was a house. I know Rave was Renegade was in it. I forgot who else was in it. Maybe Big Eight. I don't know. It was a hot fight script. I'm pretty sure I was nervous. It was my first match, and it was like everything happens fast, and but it was cool. I had that's wrestling 3 pounds. I came out with a black a 19. That was like I got from my friend. That was like his brand. Yeah, I was wearing that, and uh, yeah, that's all. That's probably what I remember. The match I won a match with the 52 bomb, was a five miscarriage power bomb I was doing at the time. But yeah, that's about what I remember from the match.
Gotcha. So, we just heard about the first match. Now, tell us about your favorite match that you've been a part of.
My favorite match that I've been a part of was 6-man tag, Fade Area Militia. Shout out my boy Travis 3000 and my boy DJ Bruner versus the Scope, AR Fox, Adrian Alanis, and Liam Gray. That was my favorite match. We did that at one of the DWA shows. I think it was a 4th of July show, if I'm not mistaken. We went like 25 minutes. It was just high flying, fast paced action. Uh, that was my first time actually getting in the ring and wrestling Fox. You know, great memory. DJ jumped off of a ladder, crazy spot. But yeah, it was fun. The crowd was hot the whole match. So, a lot of people can't keep a crowd hot for 25 minutes, and we kept it hot the entire time. And had great praises from that match.
Gotcha. I was actually just looking over at the Instagram tab, and one of your WWA4 comrades, Don Cameron's in the chat.
Shout out Don Cameron. They call that boy Big Debo.
Hmm. So, What is the longest distance that you have ever driven to get to a match?
To get to a match that I've actually wrestled in was probably I don't know how far Panama is, probably like 6 hours, 6, 7 hours to Panama, Florida. But the longest I've ever been in the car to go to the show was probably GCW. We drove from Atlanta to St. Louis to like right outside of Indianapolis and back to Atlanta. That was
That's a good little haul.
yeah, a lot. Yeah, the Panama
Gotcha.
trip was the longest I've driven to a show. We did that. We did that loop twice. Me and Travis did it twice. The first time we went down there with Grayson and Eddie Hendricks, Grayson Pierce and Eddie Hendricks. Shout out to those guys. And the second time we went down there with Black Jack Mack and Edward Draven, which was actually one of my favorite trip stories because Travis tried to get the rental car the same day, and we couldn't get a rental car same day for some odd reason. And I had a bright idea of let's get a U-Haul, try to get a U-Haul van or a pickup truck or something. And the place said they had one, and we get there, and then the guy tell us the only one they have is in Dallas, Georgia. So all they had was the big box trucks. So all four of us piled up in the box truck and drove it down to Panama. The tire
Wow.
blew out. Yeah, the tire blew out like an hour and a half outside of Atlanta in the middle of nowhere. We had to wait
Oh
like
no.
yeah, we had to wait like another hour before the guy comes to replace the tire. We drive to Panama. We get there 5 minutes before the first bell, and we walk through the door. We find out that the guy wanted us to wrestle first. It was like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. So they moved us to third. So, wild trip.
Good story though.
I've
Um,
had some.
actually, Wednesday night, I've got Eddie Hendricks. So, uh,
Shout out. Another member of the
so,
Fade Militia.
oh yeah. Speed round. Darby Allen.
Wild. I like it
Yeah.
though. It's cool. It's cool people. We came to the fort before when him, Fox, Swerve, and Steve were running that angle. He showed up at the fort and met him. Pretty cool guy.
Yeah. He's somebody that doesn't care about his body. I mean, he will do whatever he feels like to put on a show.
Yeah. Shout. Hey, it reminds me of my boy Mr. Danger, man. Shout out Mr. Danger.
So, what is your biggest in-ring pet peeve? What could an opponent do that would just drive you nuts?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Uh, Probably repeatedly stiffing me. Like I don't mind a stiff punch. Like if you hit me one time, cool, whatever, not tripping. You hit me two
Yeah,
times, cool, not tripping. But you hit me about three times, like all right, now I gotta hit you back. So that's
yeah.
probably like the only time I've ever really got mad. Oh, it's my boy Travis.
Hey,
Shout out to my boy
Travis,
Travis.
what's going on?
Hey, say what's going on?
Good,
How are you? Good to see you.
good to see you, dude.
Right back here.
It's my guy. Yep.
So I know that as far as preparing for a match, there's really two ways to do it. You can either work it out with your opponent in the back, or you can call it in the ring. Between those two ways of doing a match, do you have a preference? Would you rather work it out in the back, or would you rather call it in the ring, or a little bit of both?
I prefer a little bit of both. When I first started out, I preferred to call the entire thing, like point A to point B, the entire match. And as I grew in it, I realized like that is a lot to remember. So I
Mm-hmm.
recently got into just calling spots where I was just like, all right, for this spot I do this, and for this spot we're gonna do this. The rest of it we just call in the ring, work it around. That was like one of my other favorite matches I just recently did. It was a triple threat with AWOL and Keelan Cole, where we literally called like three spots, and the rest of it was just on the fly calling in the ring, and we put on a banger. So yeah, I'm kind of liking that style more too.
Gotcha. So I don't know that this has been something you've faced, but I'll ask it anyway. And that is, if you were to work in another country or culture, how do you think you would handle the language barriers when interacting with fans and also working with other talent?
I have not had the pleasure of being overseas working with other countries and other cultures, but I do have this fancy app on my iPhone called Google Translate that
Yeah,
works one. So it helped me a lot. So
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
that would be my best friend.
Yep. So, what has been your most unusual encounter with a fan?
Uh, so,
You've got a good
uh,
story, I can tell.
man, this is Eddie Hendricks and Don Cameron was there for this story right here. This was like not the first DWA show. It's maybe like my third time going down there, and this lady and like me, Hendrix, Don Cameron, and my girlfriend were outside talking. I think it was like after the match, and this one of the ladies just randomly walked up on us and was like, uh, "My grandkids are black," and I was like, "We were like, okay," and she just and it kept getting progressively worse from there, and it wasn't like it wasn't negative racism. It was more of a I'm trying to fit in, and it kind of got awkward real fast. And it was like, all right,
Gotcha.
we gotta get out of here quick. So that was probably like, so,
Gotcha. So, can you share an example of a time where during a match something went completely sideways and you had to completely improvise?
uh, speaking on the match I was just telling you about, the triple threat was on the fly. The finish got botched because we planned to run in, and not enough people ran in to take me out. People ran in, and Travis and DJ ran them off, and nobody was there to run me off. Couldn't run nobody off, so I had to get involved in the finish, and it prolonged the match like 2 extra minutes, and we just like on the fly at everything to the finish. Recently, actually yesterday.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Sunday, uh, we did a match with the Pump Line from San Diego at RIPW Renegade Independent Pro Wrestling out here in Atlanta. We did a 6-man tag opening the show, and the finish was Travis hits a sit out Uranagi on Robin Shaw, and as the pin is
Hmm.
happening, I do the Bray Wyatt Roman spot as a tribute because Travis is a big Bray Wyatt fan. I respect the Bray Wyatt RIP. So I did the spear over the pin, and the referee, for some odd reason, didn't count the three, and Travis had the Anaconda Vice to submission for the finish. But that was only 2 times, really.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, in terms of your in-ring work and your promos, who or what would you say are some of your influences? And it can be wrestlers, it can be pop culture, any of that. What has influenced the King of Fades to be the character that he is?
Honestly, it's not somebody from wrestling. It's not pop culture. It's people that I hung around on a like daily basis, like during like very influential years of my life. It was like I hung around these people, and I was like, these guys are actually characters. The more I just sat there and been
Hmm.
around, I was like, these guys are characters. They're hilarious. Like you can tell that they're nobody to mess with, but they can crack a good joke and laugh with you too. And that
Gotcha.
connect, and that actually helps me connect with fans with being able to crack a joke and laugh with the fans, but also being that serious presence in the ring.
Gotcha. So, do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? A match that you can have watched it a million times and it just never gets old, and there's always some new little nugget that you can pull from it every time you watch.
Uh, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, triple threat.
Nice. From
Yeah,
TNA? Yeah.
yes, good one. That inspired me to put together my first match that I structured out together was a triple threat between me, Eddie Hendricks, and Grayson Pierce. Like in our early years, early months of doing this, Fox let us do triple threats, and first one I ever put together. I used that match as a base structure of what I wanted to get over and what I wanted to do.
Very cool. Yep. AJ and Joe, and AJ and Daniels, for that matter, always had such great chemistry together. I mean, uh, you could put those guys together at any time, and you've got magic.
Definitely.
So,
So,
so you're still a pretty young guy, so this may not apply all that much at this point, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyway, and that is, what hurts right now?
I'm not as young as you think, bro. I just turned 30 2 weeks ago. But right now, my shoulder hurts more than anything. I did a springboard clothesline yesterday and I landed on my shoulder. So right now, that hurts
Mm,
way more than anything. My neck hurts a little too, but mainly it's my shoulder.
got you, got
Uh,
you. Well, I just turned 55 a couple of months ago, so you know, uh, you know, the 50s are a strange time, man. You hit 50 and your body starts doing some weird stuff. I'll just say that much. Yeah, you've got a lot to look forward to.
hey, can't do nothing but look forward to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what has been the most significant injury that you've suffered, either in wrestling or in training?
Oh, well, call back to earlier when I said after my first match, before my first match, I was coming off an injury. I actually broke my ankle, well, fractured it 3 weeks prior to my first match. I was doing, we were having a show called Wicked, and we did another 6-man tag. Kind of seemed like I'm synonymous with these 6-man tags right now. But did 6-man tag, and I wasn't even in the match. I was just on the outside. We were doing Team Humidity versus Team A4. It was at the time we were doing Wednesday Night Humidity, which was us guys who had just started and was trying to get us prepared to do A4 Thursdays versus guys who were on A4 Thursdays. And it was Rico, Keelan, and Larry Lazard versus CB, Mr. Sexy, and I think DJ at the time, and me and Reggie Rage, R.I.P. Reggie Rage, my guy. We were on the outside, and they did a dive spot where all three of them dived at the same time. And I caught Keelan and Larry landed on me at the same time, and my ankle got twisted up and all that, and it was just fracturing my ankle. And I also had to do I had to do a spot like right afterward where we had to pull the referee out and argue with the referee. So as I'm on the ground, I'm like, oh my God, I broke my ankle. And I was like, fuck, I got to do my spot. So I stand up, uh, snatch the referee out the ring, argue with her. She's trying to argue with me. I'm like, yo, kick me out of here right now. I don't care about anything you're talking about. Kick me out right now. So she turned around, get out. And I looked at Reggie. I was like, Reggie, get me out of here. And Reggie helped me get to the back. And I ended up going to the hospital and fracturing my ankle. So it was like, that was happening on the 31st. And I had a x-ray on the 15th of November, 15th to 18th of November. And I ended up being late. I know it was Wednesday. I ended up being late to the my x-ray. And she was like, oh, we're going to have to schedule for like next month. And I was like, so, okay, cool. Schedule me for next month. That's great. I left that place, drove straight to the floor, put my wrestling gear on, hopped in the ring. So, all right, I'm wrestling. And a week later, I had my first match. So.
Wow. So you basically wrestled with a broken ankle for a while?
Yeah, for at least the first 3 months I had a broken ankle. My main thing was I had the tendon in the arch of my foot. I think I did some damage to that too. So that hurt a lot longer than my ankle did. But all that is fine now. So
that's
wrestling.
good.
I'm wrestling without ankle braces now. So
awesome. Speed round. Mick Foley.
GOAT. Love Mick Foley.
Yeah.
My favorite memory of Mick Foley is, I know most people say the Hell in the Cell with Undertaker, but my favorite memory of Mick Foley is the three faces of Foley in the Royal Rumble. That's my favorite Foley. That will pop me to the day. I love it every time. It's the greatest thing ever to me.
I actually recently showed the clip of his 3 entrances in that Royal Rumble to my wife, who is not a wrestling fan, but she got a kick out of that too.
Yeah,
that was definitely a cool moment. Another Foley moment I love is the interview that he did with Jim Ross as Mankind. When he kind of went nuts and ended up choking out Ross with the mandible claw.
Yeah, that was a great interview. Yeah, he had great promos.
He did. The promo that he did in ECW with the whole Kane Dewey thing, that was, because that came from a very dark place, and you could just tell that was very real to him.
Yeah, it was great on the mic.
So what are your thoughts in general on the current state of the business?
Business is booming, definitely. Business is definitely up in wrestling. I feel like, personally, it could be more opportunities given to younger guys and newer guys. I feel like a lot of guys will try to hold on to their spot, their 15 minutes of fame for 15 years, and it's all right, bro. Time to put somebody else in time to get somebody else some shine now. But outside of that one thing, I feel like business is real good for wrestling right now.
I agree. I mean, I've been a fan since I was around 11, varying levels of fandom at different points in my life. But like I said, a couple months ago, I turned 55. So I've been following this stuff for 40 plus years. I grew up in the territory days, saw the whole Monday Night Wars start to finish, the whole rise and fall of ECW and on to today. And I've got to say, today is one of the most exciting times to be a fan, just because there is so much out there, so many different companies, so many places for guys like you to work and hone their craft and actually make some money doing this. You
Yeah.
know, and right now with the new regime in WWE and their willingness to work and collaborate with other companies, finally you really get the sense that almost anything is possible.
Yes.
And it's for those reasons, from my perspective, one of the most exciting times I can remember.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. AEW is one of the reasons I actually got back into wrestling because, like, as a child, I loved wrestling. Teenager, young adult, I going into college, I tried to focus on football, so I didn't think about wrestling like that. Then after I left college, I didn't know what I wanted to do, man. I seen there's a new promotion coming up called AEW. I had stopped watching WWE at the time, and I was like, oh, see what they're gonna do. Thought it was cool. Then I know how at the time it was Vince McMahon, and I know how Vince McMahon is when it was with WCW. It's like, oh, if he got competition, he's gonna up his ante a lot. So I was like, let me see what they're gonna do on WWE. Then they upped their ante. Then the pandemic hit, and I was like, I stopped watching it again. And then I came to the fore, started watching it, and from there I learned about this beautiful world of independent pro wrestling and the GCWs and the MLWs and all that. But I had previous knowledge of the TNA Impact and the Ring of Honor from as a
Yeah,
child. Yeah.
right. So, what is your and it's this is an interesting and fun question, because this is how you and I linked up, and that is, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool for wrestling?
Social media is it's pros and cons as promotional tools. Cause it's pros as in it can be worldwide. It can reach anybody. The cons are how can you
The,
guarantee
co-
that
the right,
anybody? Yeah, so it's like
yeah,
I
yeah,
spoke of this recently to a couple guys yesterday. I was like, yeah, I went to this one show I wrestled for, and it was like only 9 people in the crowd, and it was like there was like, yeah, the guy he doesn't want to promote correctly. I was like, yo, you got to think about it. Like in these small country towns, not everybody's following your Instagram and Facebook and Twitters and stuff like that. People don't know you. So therefore, you have to get on the ground and put in footwork in these small towns and hit the mom and pop shops and the locally owned restaurants and the barbershops and stuff like that. If you want to get proper promotion on like shows like that in small towns, but nobody listens to me. So hey,
gotcha. Yeah, it's like you said, the pro of social media is, you can connect to anybody, but the con is you can connect to anybody. I
yeah,
mean, so it's
same.
it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah. So,
So you're still a pretty young guy, but knowing everything you know at this point in your life, Jay, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
don't go to college. Tell your mama and your daddy to spend that 24K somewhere else and just give me 12 to 1300 and let me come to the WWA 4 and get the training straight out of high school. That's the only advice I would tell myself immediately. Come out of high school, come here and train. I feel like that butterfly effect would be a lot crazier. Because you never know. I graduated high school in 2013. You never know. I could be in the WWE by now if I would have started training then. So,
but you know what, Jay? There's a reason why you are where you are when you are. So, it's all part of your journey. It's all part of your path. And, just cling to that and know that you're where you're supposed to be.
oh yeah, I don't. When I first started, I stressed that like, damn, I wish I would have started earlier. Now I'm not even tripping. Like, I'm grateful that I started when I did. I've met people that I would have never met in my life that I'm grateful that are in my life. So I'm glad I started when I did.
Absolutely. So, aside from seeking out WWA4 and AR Fox, do you have any advice for any young people that would be looking to break into the business?
Slow down. Slow down. Follow your heart. If you want to do it, be serious about it. Can't You can half-ass it and be somebody who just wants to be an entertainer and wants to do character work all the time. You can do that if that's what you want to do. No knock to it, no shame to it. But if you want to take it serious and try to make it in a farther place, I feel like you should like put forth your best effort, like in all aspects, and not just trying to be good in the ring. It's about being good in the ring, being good on the mic, being good in the weight room, being good what you eat, being good in what time you go to sleep, what time you wake up. Is all about just being good, just basically being disciplined, really. Just be a disciplined person. And
Absolutely.
Seek out Air Force,
Yep.
definitely do.
So, if you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
If I could only be one. If you're great on the mic, you can make a lot of money and people remember you more, and then you can venture off into other things in life. So probably be great on the mic.
Yeah. That question, I've asked it in all of these, and it's almost a 50-50 split. Between what people lean toward. But I mean, you get the rare guys that are amazing in the ring and are also amazing on the mic, and those guys can almost write their own ticket. I mean, I'm talking about the guys like the Will Ospreys, people that are just otherworldly in the ring and can also throw it down on the mic.
Yeah.
Man, if you can do both, you're worth your weight in gold.
Yeah, definitely. That's why it's my goal. Try to get good at both. I feel like I started doing promos a lot more in the past couple months, trying to get better at promos. So I know that that's like 100%. Like if you want to make top dollar, you have to be able to talk on a mic. So that's my goal.
Absolutely. So tell me about the King of Fades gimmick. Where did it come from? What's the story behind all of that?
Okay, so the King of Fades. I have a group that I created called the Fade Air Militia, which is myself, Travis 3000, DJ Bruner, and Eddie Hendricks. The group, well, it started off with just me and Trav, then I added DJ, and that's why we became the militia. But the Fade area, the King of Fades, and the Fade area started as when I moved to Atlanta originally. I went to stay with one of my friends that I met back in college, and I had in my room on my phone, but it has no internet connection. So I was like, "Hey, bro, what's the Wi-Fi?" And it was like, it's Fade area. And I was like, why does it call Fade area? He was like, well, this house is where all the homies come to run a fade and fight. And I was like, oh, all right, it's cool. And it always stuck with me. And I just never thought of it until like I brought us all together. And I was like, would it be the Fade area? And King of Fades is like, well, King of Fade gimmick is I'm gonna adapt to whatever style you are. I'm not gonna turn down no fight. I'm gonna adapt to it and I'm gonna give you the fight of your life. So
Got you. But I like how the initials spell fam. You
yes,
know, so I mean, you know, it's a group, but it's a family too,
yeah,
and that's uh, those are the best factions where there is a legitimate brotherhood.
yes. Those are my guys. Like road trip, 100%. We're down the road trip. I've had, like I said, me and Travis went to Panama a couple times. Me and Hendrix went to Panama together. Me and Hendrix recently just did another road trip where we went to Middleton, Tennessee with Grayson and Rico Gonzalez. Shout out to Rico, he gave us that plug. Yeah, we just did a road trip. Like when I say those are my guys, those are my guys. I got their back, they got mine. So if I can call,
That's how it ought to be, man.
if I need them in anything, I can call them. They need me, they can call me. Hendrix recently needed his brakes changed on his car. I changed his brakes for him. So it's like anything they need me in real life, outside the ring, inside the ring, I'm there for them. So
Well, that's, you know, having friends like that is a blessing.
yeah. And like I said, if I would have started wrestling when I came out of high school, I would never met these guys. So started at the
That's
perfect time.
true. So, do you have any pre-show traditions, rituals, superstitions, anything like that? Do you have basically anything that you try to do consistently before you go through the curtain?
I say a prayer and I stretch. That's what I do every time. I ask God to watch over me, get me through the match safely, mistake free, bless everybody. I I say in my prayer, I ask for my friends that was passed along the way, Day Day, Reggie Ray's, Dex. I ask them, say, walk with me with this. I ask my grandparents to watch over me, and we'll go out in the curtain.
Gotcha. Speed round. Paul Heyman.
Go. Love Paul Heyman. Always have. Always love Paul
Yeah.
Heyman.
Same here. I mean, you know, based on just being the guy that created ECW, he's Hall of Fame. And you know, beyond all of that, just the contributions that guy has made to the business over the decades. I mean, he's just unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm a big Paul Heyman guy. I love Paul Heyman.
And the work he's been doing in this whole bloodline saga they've got going right now has just been amazing. He's almost reinvented himself again.
Yeah.
So
Pops he gets every time he hears voices crazy.
yep. So something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. So one of my previous guests posed this question, and that is if you could hold, you know, as the champion, if you could hold any belt in history based on belt design, what belt would it be and why?
I'm about to put over a belt that a lot of y'all have never heard of, but the Bulgarian Championship. I just recently wrestled for this championship last Thursday against Damian Tangram.
Really?
Yes, hands down the most beautiful championship belt I've ever seen. Hands down. So if
Really?
y'all ever,
I'm going to have to see if I can find a picture of it somewhere.
get a chance to see that Bulgarian championship belt that Damian Tangram has, you're gonna agree that this is probably one of the most beautiful belts you've ever seen. Shout out to Damien Tanger in Bulgaria for that.
Nice, nice. So, since this is part of a series, do you have a question that you would like to pose to the next guest, who actually is Eddie Hendricks? You're gonna
How
have some
has
fun, I can tell.
yeah, how has JayTyler influenced your life? That's the question to Eddie Hendricks. I'm gonna definitely watch for that one question. Cause that's my guy, and I gotta mess with him. I got to.
Okay, what you got?
Yeah, I want to. That I really want you to ask how has JayTyler influenced Eddie Hendricks' life, and I want you to ask Eddie Hendricks, uh, what is his ultimate goal in pro wrestling?
Well, I will definitely ask him, how has JayTyler influenced your life, and what is your ultimate goal in wrestling? So, how would you answer that? What is your ultimate goal in wrestling?
My ultimate goal in wrestling, as a child, I've always wanted to be a WWE champion, 100%.
Hmm.
The past bad blood in Atlanta, Jey Uso actually let me hold an IC title, and I felt
Really?
that, yeah, and that's a ultimate goal. I want to hold a WWE championship, but if I cannot get to a WWE championship, any recognizable world title that I can travel around the world and defend and put on and show to everybody what I can do is the ultimate goal. What I really would like to do.
Very cool. Yeah, Jey Uso seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
So, we're getting toward the end of things now. So, do you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
I always hype to the my favorite show, A4 Thursday. Always hype to that. But we do have a DWA show coming up Saturday on the 30th, and that's in Williamson, Georgia. I'm thinking, and I was possibly gonna get on the road Sunday and travel up to Chattanooga to Forever Pro. Those are the main shows, and um, yesterday. So that's it for all the shows I got so far. I'm trying to get more bookings, so if y'all looking for a wrestler that can work babyface or heel, they can get your talent over. Look no further, you found your guy. So
Gotcha. So, do you have a preference yourself between working heel or babyface?
uh I like heel. Heel's in my personal opinion, heel is more fun. But I could do either or. I don't mind babyface at all. I actually ran when during my heel run here at the A4. This was actually one of the only places I ran heel. Everywhere else, yeah, everywhere else I got booked. I got booked for face. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, as far as what we've got coming up, Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, I've got episode 54 with your boy, another Georgia-based wrestler, the Sun God Eddie Hendricks,
the hero
and
killer.
then and then this coming Sunday with a special early start time of 2 p.m. I've got episode 55 with another buddy of yours, the young gun, Grayson Pierce.
Hey, shout out Grayson. I hate Grayson. I hate Grayson. Boo you,
You
Grayson.
hate Grayson.
Yeah, I hate Grayson. That's my guy, but I hate
You
Grayson.
got any word? You got any words for Grayson?
I'm coming for those belts, Grayson Pierce. Your days are numbered. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Jay, I appreciate your time. This has been great, and you know, at this point, you are part of the Throwdown family, and consider yourself as having a standing invitation to come back anytime. Um, for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be watching this on replays, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely spread the word. Right here is a QR code that'll take you to my link tree. And definitely feel free to use that and go to my various socials. Give me a follow, all that good stuff. And there's definitely plenty of stuff in my link tree. And like I said, I'm drinking out of one of the brand new Throwdown with Matt mugs, and I'm gonna put up another QR code that'll take you to the merch store. We've got mugs, we've got hats, we've got T-shirts, all kinds of stuff, and more stuff is going to be coming soon. We're working on some additional designs. But anyway, like I said, Jay, thank you. And everybody have a wonderful rest of your night. Be safe, love each other, and keep